things at my house.
We're not using the clapper thing for the podcast.
Aw.
No, just no. You're listening to Redvolution Rampage. I'm Omar.
I'm Zach.
Amanda.
And I'm Kristen.
That's right. Kristen is joining us today.
And
For
Kristen is
my wife.
Hey.
Yay!
Yeah, I'm real exist.
She has been captive by us for many episodes.
I
Where she
usually-
would literally just sit right over there, and we actually never
You know,
had
it's
her
a
on.
podcast, right? You can't point and be like right over there.
Right over there.
Yeah, she was right over there, not on a mic.
In the background.
She was just staring at us.
I usually just sit and watch and just kind of have to be quiet, but now it's a little different. I get to, talk a little bit.
She gets to join us for the final episode of season 2. And we're going to be moving on to season 3 soon enough.
Yeah, we're going to take a break, though.
We are going to take a break as the off-season moves on. Speaking of off-season, there have been a lot of excellent moves. We just got back from the prospect camp that showed off an excellent 12 picks of the draft, along with some other invitees and previous draft picks.
They had guys from all the way back from 2015 draft there, so there was a lot of good talent.
Yeah, we'll break them down, kind of see who played well in the 3-on-3 scrimmage, followed by a shootout for some reason, even though there was a clear winner.
I'm kind of upset they didn't do goalie shootout. They had so many.
There were 7 goalies out there.
That's fantastic.
7.
Man, now I really wish I had gone.
And I think only
You know, I
one
love
of
a
them,
goalie.
was it one or two of them were actually like just the invitees. The rest were actually drafted.
Right, and so we'll get to talk about all that and more, especially some interesting trades that have happened here recently. Some players lost, some players gained,
Some players still up in the air.
and some players bought out. We'll talk about all that and more after this.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just start from the beginning, right? So, day 1 of the NHL Draft saw us.
Well, it was right before it, wasn't it? No, the trade after was day 1.
Right, it was later that day, or is it next day?
It was
Either
it was
way-
early the next day. It was probably done on the floor.
Right, it probably was not on the floor. That's probably where Tom Dundon patted Don Waddell on the back. There.
Yeah, a lot of fans were just curious because Waddell was on the phone like a lot that day.
Well, that's the life of a general manager. I mean, there's literally a picture of Dumba, or like where's Dumas or whatever his name is, Toronto GM, with like 2 phones to his face, like
Yeah.
like he's like over here talking, like hold on 1 second. Yeah, no, we're not drafting him. Yeah, fine, we'll trade him to you.
You want to talk about trades? How many trades did we have in the 2 days?
I lost track.
I'll break them down for you guys here in a little bit. Let's talk about our number 1 draft pick. At number 28 of the NHL Draft in 2019, the Carolina Hurricanes selected Ryan Suzuki, number 61 of the Barrie Colts. And I think that was an absolute steal. Now, yes, Ryan Suzuki will not be playing for the Carolina Hurricanes this upcoming season. Why? Because he didn't turn 18 before the cutoff point. He can't even play in the AHL. So right now he will be going back to the Barrie Colts. We'll talk about how he's impressed us so far, but let's talk about how he's been impressive for the Barrie Colts, because he's been teammates with Andrei Svechnikov, and both of them together have been the 1-2 punch for the Barrie Colts.
Oh, Andre's excited about this. He's happy to have his friend back.
Absolutely. And Ryan's also happy to play back with his old buddy Svech. Again, probably won't happen until next year at the least. He might see a year in AHL before he moves up. Kind of be like a Nakis thing where he comes and plays 6 or 7 games with the Canes before being sent back down to the Checkers.
How do they determine what they're going to do with him? Because, like, Svechnikov was drafted and then automatically came.
Well, he was eligible to play this one he turned 18 at the right time.
Yeah, but then we've got the other draft picks that are they'll get sent down to the Checkers, or like you're saying with Suzuki that he won't even do that.
So
Because
Suzuki
is an age thing.
is an age thing for Suzuki.
Right. So
Some
how
it's
do
an
they
age
determine
thing.
where they're gonna go?
So for a
when
lot of
they're
them, it's an
drafted.
age thing. A couple more of them, they have commitments already. So a
With
couple of
the
guys
Russians.
are going. So a couple of Russians are going back to the KHL, is it Kremlin Hockey League or whatever? To Continental, Kremlin, Continental, same.
It's all weird, but our goalie Peter, he's going back to the KHL as well as the one Russian who could not report to the prospect camp
Right.
Because of a previous commitment, but they'll be going back to the KHL, and that's one of the things that our general managers of the past have avoided, because you're taking that risk of them going back to the KHL and they could stay there
Or get hurt or whatever happens.
Yeah,
But ever since, Kuznetsov, the Capitals took a chance on him and he came back out of the KHL as an excellent player, I think more GMs are really taking away from that and really focusing more on, the KHL is a place where a prospect can see worthwhile development. Yes, it's out of the prying eyes of Americans or North Americans for this point, but it's worked out so far, and I think there's a little bit more trust going into that. A couple of other guys are going to college. One guy's going to Penn State. Two guys are going to BU.
some are going back to Finland.
Some are going back to Finland. Two Finns will go back to the Finnish league. I think they're both in either one guy's in Finland Junior and the other guy's in Finland Tier 2. So those guys will either move up a tier or report back to that team for further development before moving up.
And then you have the guys who are just good enough that they're like, you know what, they're here, let's sign them, and then we'll see where they land. Where it's the ECHL, AHL, it depends on how many spots they have on the team, what contracts is available for each player. It all depends on the right timing and how good they are at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of guys move down to Greenville and join the Swamp Rabbits.
Yay!
Swamp Rabbits.
So the Greenville Swamp Rabbits are now the brand new, sparkling, shiny ECHL affiliate of the Carolina Hurricanes, which now puts all three teams within 4 hours of each other at minimum, maximum.
4.5 hours max.
How
Yeah.
many teams can say that though? A lot of a lot of the other NHL teams, their
No.
AHLs or
Well, look at
across
Florida.
the country.
Look at Florida. Most of theirs are literally scattered around the Midwest
Yeah.
or something. When they have 5 hockey teams in Florida, 3 of them are ECHL.
Yeah, so this is a great step forward towards proper prospect development and keeping a good eye on some of these kids that are closer to the chest here.
And literally creating a fan pipeline. You could literally go
Yeah.
from an ECHL game on Friday to an AHL game on Saturday to an NHL game on Sunday.
That's a great weekend.
Don't encourage my husband to do that.
What?
That sounds like a great weekend.
I'm sorry. I gave you the
Right?
idea. Now he might do it.
Then,
I'm going to do it.
hold on, you could throw in an SPHL in there.
Oh,
too.
yeah. You got
that's
well,
right. Actually, you can go from
Yeah, but you
FHL to SPHL to ECHL to AHL to
That's
NHL.
so many
just-
levels.
That's a whole lot of hockey.
That's
When
5
would you
levels
have?
right
When
there.
would you have to start? What would be like Memorial Day week, like a Memorial Day weekend
It's-
kind of
I
thing, where
think-
you start on Thursday and you go all the way through
But
Monday?
you know what? That's a whole lot of hockey in North Carolina. In
Well,
and South
in
Carolina.
the Carolinas,
In the
right?
Carolinas.
Because there's multiple ECHL
Go
teams in the
figure.
Carolinas now. You know, the Stingrays do belong to the-
Washington.
and then in the FHL, SPHL, there's a couple teams there.
Well, I
So-
think they changed their name with the FHL. I think it's the FPHL, the Federal Prospects Hockey League now.
Mhm.
They just did. I think they just did it so they can say that they are they're the level before SPHL.
Yeah, because a lot of those players from the FHL do make it up to the SPHL, and a lot of guys from the SPHL do earn themselves ECHL contracts.
There were a few
And so
from the
forth and
marksmen
so
this year that were jumping back and forth all
yes,
year.
Yes, some guys from the marksmen came from the Thunderbirds, and other guys have moved up from the marksmen to. I think one guy went to the Cyclones and the
Cincinnati,
Cincinnati Cyclones over in Colorado.
the
who-
former affiliate of the Hurricanes.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. So there's a lot of moving up and down for these players. And now that all 5 levels are within arm's reach,
Now we need to focus on college.
right, and NC State is one of those teams and that is in the new program that's trying to get into the NCAA.
NCAA, and not only do they have the men's, they have the women's too, and they also have as of right now, they're playing at a rink in Raleigh, but now with the Wake County Performance Center, possibly maybe a move to there and becoming an NCAA team.
We'll see.
I mean, the Canes already have said that they're probably going to move there. Imagine with not only the Canes there, but both NC State teams, how much money would be flowing in and out of that arena. Because you also have 2 rinks in that arena. So you could not only have a game for NC State happening, and then you have like figure skate practice on the other one.
So there's a lot of goings on, and there's a lot of opportunity for hockey within North Carolina.
We just need to make it better,
and it can always get better, right? Again, but with the amount of eyeballs on hockey in North Carolina, that will come. Just it's capitalism as it is. The more eyeballs you get to something, the more money gets driven there. The more money gets driven there, the more people want to make off
and
that
money. One thing will just keep driving that. Winning. The Canes cannot afford to have a one playoff year. They need to have a great run, make the playoffs again, and make it a constantly recurring thing. Because that's what really killed like the Atlanta Thrashers, is that they made the playoffs maybe one time and then it was nothing, and the fans just went by.
Right. So let's talk about day 2, right? And it started off with a trade. An interesting trade.
A very interesting trade, and I actually think we won the trade. Honestly, I think we won the trade just because of what we got.
All right, so Toronto received a 6th-round draft pick in the 2020 draft.
Conditional. It could be 2021 as well.
No, that draft pick isn't conditional.
That one isn't?
No.
Oh, the one for Vegas is.
Yes, and I'll talk about the Vegas trade here in a bit. The Carolina Hurricanes received Patrick Marleau, the 7th-round draft pick in the 2020 draft, and the 1st-round draft pick in the 2020 draft. So you're wondering...
Conditional.
That one is conditional. It's a condition is if it's a top 10 pick, then it becomes a
2021 pick, guaranteed no matter what.
Absolutely. So the Toronto Maple Leafs were trying to get rid of cap. And Don Waddell weaponized that, and he turned it into a 1st-round draft pick, basically saying, hey, we're going to take this guy off your hands. And Marleau had a NMC, which is no move clause, and he actually waived it so he can get sent to the Carolina Hurricanes because there was an agreement, basically, that he was going to get bought out. Now, granted, Don Waddell did try to speak to him, did try to convince him to play for the Carolina Hurricanes. However, in the end, he didn't work out, and Patrick Marleau is now a free agent who will most likely be courting the San Jose Sharks, who are in a little bit of a cap hell, to play for them for a very cheap deal, 1 year, probably under $1 million, just so he can finish out his career with the Sharks.
Or maybe just a one-day deal, so if he says I'm done. It just depends. But
right.
Yeah, that whole Marleau situation, I was very confused.
I hate that we don't have
Marleau.
Right I hate that we don't have Marleau, but I mean we had the cap, so
yeah. But at the same
essentially
time,
we bought a 1st-round pick.
Yeah, so basically,
Yeah,
and then earlier today when Don Waddell was asked about buying a 1st-round pick, he's like, "Hey, it's not my money," which is a legendary answer.
Oh, okay.
Don Waddell is a savage.
He knows what he's doing, and a lot of people don't give him enough credit. Okay, so he moved. The second trade of that day was they had the 37th and 38th overall pick. 37th overall pick, they picked up Peter K. I can't really pronounce his full last name.
He's a Russian goalie, and his last name escapes me, but his highlights are amazing. He played for the Russian junior team in the last World Classic. The guy shined. The guy literally stood on his head and almost beat Team Canada.
Right, and then with the next pick, they traded
back.
it for 2 more picks, a mid rounder for the 2nd round, and then a 4th rounder.
It was like a 4th rounder, and then they had another 2nd round pick later that they didn't trade. They used it, and then in the 3rd round they traded back again.
So the 2nd round pick later, which is the 44th pick, which is one of the picks they traded the 38th pick for. They picked up Jamison Reese. And Jamison Reese has been amazing. Even in prospect camp today, he showed off some wheels, and he showed off his skill. He's an amazing draft pick. Honestly, he's in the future. He's going to be basically a top penalty kill player.
This whole second day of the draft was interesting to say the least, because have you seen the ESPN ratings? They said that the Canes won the draft hands down. They said that we picked up so many people that were just dropping off the board, dropping up into the board, that we just snatched them up.
Waddell was just he looked and he found the best players available. Like Ryan Suzuki didn't have a nameplate on the back of his jersey because the Carolina Hurricanes didn't think that he was going to drop down to them. They thought he was going to be gone in the top 12, top 15. There's no way. That. So when they managed to pick him up, it was absolute gold mine. That was an easy pick, one that was completely unexpected for them.
We're going to get the Suzuki brothers duking it out soon.
Ryan Suzuki and his older brother, Nick Suzuki.
Who is with Montreal.
Absolutely, yeah. Speaking of Montreal picked up a really good player that was supposed to go out earlier in the really short guy.
Sounds like Nathan Gerby.
Well, the thing is, not a lot of teams passed on him because he didn't have the size, but he's got the skill. The name passes on me right now. I'll come back to you guys with that.
Well, let's just say at the end of day 2, we started the day with 9 picks. We ended the day with 12.
10 picks.
10?
Yeah, they started the day with 10.
We started the
they made 2 trades, 1 for 2, so they ended up with 12.
Whatever. The fact that we had that many and picked up so many good guys.
Yeah.
I would if I was an ECHL contract with the Swamp Rabbits, I would have been scared at all the people that came in. That
Cole Caulfield. He was the shortest player picked at 5'7". Before that, the shortest player before him to be picked was at 5'10". So
wow,
and that was Jack Hughes.
No.
So the shortest player ever was 5'10"?
No, before him in the draft.
Oh, I was like, wait, what?
I think the shortest player ever is still Nathan Gerby.
How tall is he?
He's like 5'5".
Seriously?
Yeah. And he played for the Hurricanes for 3 years.
Is that West Skates?
I don't know.
He's probably listening right now and going, "Oi,
do we count Skates?" I don't. Like Gerby was good. Like he still has one of the best Canes highlights where he went between the legs against Philly.
Well, he had a good angle. Sorry.
Oh my
God. He had good sight, is what you're trying to say?
but
he had an advantage on that one.
So the Hurricanes picked up 3 Finns and 2 Russians in this draft. To point something out, in the previous Carolina Hurricanes history, they only drafted 3 Russians before that. 2 Russians drafted this year alone.
I think the Canes' new third symbol needs to be a Finnish flag.
They drafted 3 Finns, and then they went out and made a trade with Vegas to bring in Eric Haula. Is
that how you say his name? Is that really how you say his name?
I think it's Hula.
Have you seen the Twitter page that's called Hala's
Backside?
Are you freaking kidding me?
Best trade ever.
There is a Twitter account called Hala's Backside. Now, I will give credit. It is very impressive. However, to have an entire
I have a feeling that now somebody
it's so impressive I can't speak.
Somebody's going to start a Dougie Hamilton one, I feel.
It's just wow. I mean
So to get Holla.
Sorry.
They traded the Carolina Hurricanes traded Nicholas Waugh and
I think it was like a 7th round draft pick or something. It was high up. But it's sad to see Nick go. But at least he'll get a chance on another team because we're so front heavy right now with all the star power we have in the AHL. Like I just don't know how Nick would have had a chance.
I mean, if so, they traded
Nicholas
Waugh, not Roy Waugh, to Vegas and a conditional 5th round pick. Now the condition on that pick is a 2021 draft pick, not a 2020 pick, a 2021 draft pick. I think the condition is if Holla signs or is traded, then they get that pick. Otherwise, it's straight up Holla for Wah. Which is an amazing trade because even Wah's a little bit of time here. There was a high expectation for him, and he just didn't meet it at all. Like, you look at his score sheet for 6 games, he's got a single shot on goal. Yeah. And it's not enough to impress anyone at the NHL level, especially when you're coming in with a higher expectation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got a good guy with Hila, Holla, whatever it is, but the memes are amazing.
Yes. He will be a meme.
He is a meme already with the Twitter butt thing.
To have a whole account just for his butt is very
They
impressive.
better. So many people I've seen have said they better continue it now that he's with the Canes. But in reality,
I expect a full montage from Martin.
Oh no!
I'm really looking forward to this.
Oh no!
Omar's always showing me these little things from Martinook, and I'm like, yeah.
Oh god! What have we started? But
Marty, man.
But we gotta remember this with who we're getting with Holla. He's a third line center, which is something we have been missing big time. Is that second or third dominant center?
Well, we're looking at our centers, right? Because you got Aho. He's got a sign.
He's getting better.
I'm gonna talk to people about this in a couple of seconds because I read some weird stuff on Facebook and Twitter, and it's like, what?
Yeah, we'll get to that. But then we
and
got
then Jordan Stahl. Now you got Holla,
and then you could bring in Kukin in or something for that fourth line.
Greg McKegg, you forgot about him?
If he comes back.
Who could forget about Greg McKegg?
If he comes back, it all depends. If he comes back, I'm doing worst case scenario if he doesn't come back. Honestly, I would love to have Greg back. I love the dude is a good player, but I'm just saying with the way that we're trying to do contracts right now, trying to land that big forward.
And I think once once free agency opens up, right? Because we want to have that cap space open get in some.
My birthday is going to be a fun day. Oh my goodness!
His birthday's July 1st, people.
Yeah, free agency. I will be literally on Twitter all day trying to post things.
It's going to be an interesting day. We'll see how that day goes. However, if you look at who the Carolina Hurricanes have, because you're forgetting Lucas Wallmark's also still signed.
Wallmark's going to be a good third, fourth liner.
So now you already have 4 centers.
Do we still have McGinn?
No, McGinn is actually a RFA, but he's been tendered a qualifying offer.
Okay, so let's say he comes back. There's half of
your... if you're going to tender someone a qualifying offer, he's coming back.
Okay, so there's out of the last 2 lines, there's 4 of the 6 spots. Who's next?
6 spots?
Of the forwards.
What are you talking about?
All 3 lines.
4 lines?
3 and 4.
Oh, you're talking about
the bottom, the guys.
The bottom 6.
The guys we're trying to fill out right now, other than the big purchase that we're trying to get.
Don't forget, Martinook's still on the line. It's still in the roster.
Martinook, Wallmark, McGinn.
Let's see.
Hula.
Well, Holla.
Who else that we have signed at the NHL?
Well, Saku is also an RFA that's been given a qualifying offer as well.
5.
And then you can that's your opportunity to re-sign Greg McKegg
6.
or even bring in Justin Williams.
Well, that's a huge question. Will our captain come back? And if he doesn't, he's going to retire as a Hurricane with a very filling career. That's another question: is which number do you put in the rafters?
I'd put 14.
I would put 14.
It's going to be 14 because Carolina Hurricanes have really been the only team he's ever played 11 for. Yeah, granted, he was wearing 11 when you won the Stanley Cup, but it's going to be 14.
Yeah, well, that's going to be the next question too: is who's going to be first in the rafters, Williams or Ward?
Oh, you're assuming Ward's going up in the rafters.
He should.
Okay.
He was with the franchise for over 10 years. He deserves to be up there.
Don't you have to retire with the team?
Well, we don't even know if he's retiring yet. He's going into free agency.
There's multiple teams that have retired numbers. Same number. Okay. Same player.
Yeah, well, he's going into free agency because his contract with Chicago is done. So we'll see if he even wants to retire, he could re-sign with somebody else, or if he could come back to the Hurricanes. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we did hear something interesting from Waddell today
About
goaltending.
Well, Waddell did say that McElhinney's definitely not coming back, right? He said that McElhinney's basically hung up the phone on him, cut him off. But he also did say that they're contacting Peter Mrazek daily, nay, hourly.
Okay.
And on top of that, we just re-signed Alex Nedeljkovic for another 2 years.
Who?
Alex Nedeljkovic.
Nedeljkovic.
Ned. Alex Ned. Let's just leave it there.
Or as Waddell says, I just call him Ned. I can't say his last name.
Yeah.
We don't.
His Twitter handle is literally Alex Ned _. That's it.
Right. There you go.
Okay.
So Ned is back at least for 2 years, and then he becomes an RFA again.
Right.
But the thing with his is he's a 2-way contract for this
for
upcoming
first year, which allows them to have a competition in net for at least the backup position. And also, because speaking of competition in the net, right, let's talk about the Chicago trade that did bring in that competition, right? So the Carolina Hurricanes sent Alexis Sorella along with Calvin DeHaan to the Blackhawks for Anton Forsberg and defender Gustav Forsling.
You can't see it, but there's a tear going down the side of my face.
Let's take a moment to
Moment of silence.
a moment to recognize that Calvin DeHaan has left us.
Okay.
We'll still drink his beer.
Absolutely.
We're still waiting on it to be sold in Raleigh. Come on, Calvin.
Don't blame us.
He will be missed.
I really hope that he comes back sooner rather than later.
We'll see. For now,
especially with the way Chicago looks.
We have Gustav Forsling. He's, as far as defender, he's not replacing anyone on the roster. He's probably going to go down and replace either. He's going to replace Hayden Fleury or maybe even Jake Bean down in Charlotte. Now, all the question is about Anton Forsberg, right? Anton Forsberg has not been great for Chicago.
He hasn't been consistent either.
Not been consistent at all. But then again, the same could be said about Peter Mrazek and Curtis McElhinney before they came to Carolina. But then again, we don't have Mike Bales to lean on.
Yeah, we're still searching on that one.
So it's a huge question mark again in that.
And now Mike Vellucci's gone.
Let's just one thing at a time. Yeah, my God, my heart can only take so much.
I know, right?
Well, this is the off season. You're early on. Free agency's just going to make it worse.
All right.
Take a chill pill. Let's get through this.
Absolutely. So, at least with Ned getting the 2-way, this allows competition for at least the backup. Maybe even the starting position. I don't know if I have the answer for you today. He's undefeated in the NHL.
That's true.
Not the greatest save percentage, but undefeated nonetheless. So question is, can Forsberg really can we go in with Ned Forsberg? Absolutely not.
No.
We need to pick up something now. The Carolina Hurricanes have been linked to Varlamov. I do not like that at all.
Varlamov.
Varlamov. The man's made out of glass.
Well, you also have the two massive big names going on to the free agent market, which is Bobrovsky and now Robin Lehner.
Robin Lehner and Bobrovsky. I've seen too much about people not wanting Robin Lehner because his issues are very similar to Scott Darling's. I mean, I get that, but I don't because you're a monster.
Yeah. Oh, no. You're a monster. Let's talk about what Wade put on the PA system this morning.
Squirrel.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, Wade put it up on his Twitter. They're talking about Hamilton the pig. It's hilarious.
So, there was a stoppage in play, and he said, the stoppage in play is brought to you by Hamilton the pig. Hamilton the pig He's not for eating, you monsters.
Oh.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Okay.
And Hamilton was in the building too.
Oh yeah, he was so cute. He was just like a little ham, just like
Yeah.
He was a ham.
It's just a little ham.
A ham.
basically he's
Yeah,
just
we
being a ham.
we learned.
Okay.
We
Okay.
learned-
Is it still going over her head?
I mean, he's just cheesing out there.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
Are we just going through the food now?
She's going through all the food acronyms she can go through.
Hey, remember Hamilton's on a diet, so
he did not look like he was on a diet. Okay, he looked very healthy. Okay, looked like he would be a nice piece of bacon. What did I say? No.
Where do we?
You monster.
no. You go away now. You go away.
All right.
I think I just got fired.
Okay, how did we
Where
get here?
were we?
How did we get here?
We were talking about goalies.
Talking about goalies and talking about how people
How did
didn't
we go
want
from
Robin Leonard.
goalies to-
Because I said that people didn't want Robin Leonard because there's
Yeah.
issues were similar to Scott Darling's, and
You
I called them
monster.
monsters.
and
then
then
that
it
came
went
up.
From there. God,
And then-
will you take some medication, Zach?
And Zach completely squirreled on us.
Squirrel. I'm sorry. I work for Disney. It's something that's gonna happen.
Back to reality.
Focus. Let's go.
So Robin Leonard and Bobrovsky. Now Bobrovsky, let's be honest, more likely than not, he will be a Florida Panther.
especially with
However-
Luongo retiring.
Especially with Bobby Lou going away to the zoo and retiring in the beach in South.
Literally throwing his pads up on the wire.
He literally hung his pads up on the wire like somebody's old basketball shoes. Like, I'm impressed
Yeah.
because they got
That's
up there.
serious that they got
Did he
up
get him
there.
down?
I don't probably.
How
I'm
do
not
you-
touching
How
that.
do you get him down?
Okay, not only
ladder?
Okay, look. Not only am I one impressed that he got him up there.
Right.
Two, that they were so neat up
Yeah.
there. Like they were like evenly balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I don't see us getting Bobrovsky, but Leonard? I see that
Possibility.
might happening.
I mean, the way Don Waddell talked about the goaltending situation, there's a lot of guys on the market, guys that could get traded. There's a lot of opportunity that just wasn't around last year. Scott Darling's going to get bought out. It's going to happen. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet.
and that would be a $3.5 million hit?
Yeah, so it'll bring this hit from $6 million down to 2 point something 3. Actually, no, wait, something.
It's still going to do a little bit of a dent into the cap space, but we'll still be around like 17, 18 million.
It'll give us some cap space because he's already against the cap right now. So
Yeah.
it'll free up some cap space for us. But it'll be the third player on the buyout list because we're still paying on Alexander Simmons' contract somehow.
Yeah, thank you, Jimmy Rutherford.
You mean the Hall of Famer, Jimmy Rutherford?
Yeah. They still snub Rod.
Yeah, somehow.
Again.
Yeah.
Can we start a petition for that, please?
Look, the thing is, the Hall of Fame is it's a privately owned organization. They owe no one any explanation for who gets in on what reason, and everything happens behind closed doors, and no one really knows what happens in there, and everyone is really asking the same questions like, can we get a little bit of more like, at least tell us the guys who did get in why they got in.
Yeah, well, crud, I can't remember her name. The Canadian woman who got in, I can't remember her name. She deserved to get in.
Absolutely,
Absolutely, but I'm
yeah.
questioning guys like Jimmy Rutherford.
Yeah, maybe they were doing
He gets
it.
in as a builder.
No.
What did he build?
He built the Canes up and then tore them down.
I guess, if you're a
And then he
construction
built-
worker, you got to do both.
Then he built up the Penguins a little bit, and now he's tearing them down too.
Speaking of Penguins, that's where Mike Lucci is at now. He's now the brand new coach for the Wilkes-Barre Scranton paper mill. I mean,
the official hockey team of The Office.
yeah, the Penguins down there. And I think he's moved over there kind of for the promise that he'll probably replace Sullivan as the head coach of the Penguins. Now, granted, that's not the kind of promise the Carolina Hurricanes could have ever made him because Robert Moore has been amazing so far, and he will continue to be amazing. He spoke about the prospects earlier today, talking about it's not just what they do on the ice, but how they interact with each other. How they act in the weight room was a big deal for him. Of course, the question came up like, hey, coach, you're gonna throw some plates on there and kind of show them off. He's like, well, maybe not to these kids. I'm not ready. They're not ready for that just yet. Maybe first day of
Oh man,
training camp.
We learned firsthand how buff he is.
Lift some stuff while making eye contact. Just like,
What are you thinking, man?
Creepy.
But I mean,
you can't lift.
Rod leads by example. What he tells the players to work out, he does it too.
Right, absolutely, and him and
he needs to tell all those players to run the 5K in September.
We'll see. Well, but with him and Billy and that organization's training and development, they've all been amazing. He's let Billy take point with these prospects. They took him out to the turf in the NC State building, training center area, and they were sweating bullets indoors. So these guys have been killing it, crushing it, and
now
really,
they got to continue.
It's all really been about that leadership from Rod and the rest of the staff.
It's going to be interesting to see all the coaching changes go on with the AHL. We still need a goalie coach who's going to take that spot. It's a roller coaster with emotions, especially with the month that's going to be of July to try to figure out all the roster spots. Will we sign Aho to an extension? It's going to be a fun month.
Look, okay, let's talk about Aho here real quick. I'm going to need you guys to let me have the room with the rest of the Caniacs in the world.
Oh my God, it's Omar rant time. This will not end well.
Hi.
Hello.
No, I'm not talking to you. What point of this did you not understand? All right, let's try this again. Hello, Caniacs. Hi, it's me, Omar. For all you freaking out about Sebastian Aho not signing a deal or somehow thinking that Don Waddell offered him a $6 million deal for 8 years? Yeah, none of that happened. First of all, Sebastian Aho is a restricted free agent, meaning that unless someone offer sheets him and he signs that offer sheet and the Carolina Hurricanes decide not to match that offer sheet, see how there's a lot of things there. He's not going somewhere else. It took almost half a season for Nylander to sign. But he did. And he played. And then Sebastian Aho is no William Nylander. He will sign before the offseason is over. So why is it taking so long? It's not. The thing about free agency, and especially RFAs, is that they kind of want to see how much money they can get. Hey, it's their paycheck. But that comes with a lot of things, as in other free agents signing. It's a game of chicken. Who signs first? Eventually someone's going to say, hey, yeah, this is good enough for me. And then there's other things taken into account. Taxes. Yes, taxes. See, some states have different tax laws. That means that a guy making $10 million in, say, Florida is different than a guy making $10 million in New York. Why? Different tax laws.
Are we allowed to chime in? Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. No, I'm just
Okay, cool.
just asking.
So,
Go ahead.
there's a lot that goes into this. This is not a simple, here, take money and, throw money out of the window at Sebastian Aho until he says, fine enough. It's more of a conversation. It's not really Sebastian Aho. I saw somebody today saying that Sebastian Aho, he should take 6 or walk. Maybe you should walk.
Heck no. I mean, did you see the contract that Skinner got?
Yeah.
Oh, I also saw that somebody said that Sebastian Aho is not as good as Skinner.
Oh, excuse me?
What? I just want to know what year you live in.
Right.
Because it's not 2019.
Did you see the fall that Skinner had back of the season?
If you really think so, you know what? There is a bus that takes you all the way to Buffalo. Right. Get on it.
Get on it and go.
It's a one-way trip. Don't come back.
Go see the Niagara Falls. Just stay there.
Just stay there.
It's not a vacation. It's where you live now.
No, Aho is definitely better. How much did Skinner get?
He got 8 years for $8.5 million.
Yeah, look, Sebastian Aho's not signing for anything less than 9. Don Waddell knows this. He's not a fool, right? Now, Sebastian Aho is probably going to make 9.5. Reasonable. But he's still holding out because he wants to know what guys like Ristolainen are going to make, Mitch Marner, all those guys in his, dare I say it, peer group. Because that's what this is all about. there's other things that take into effect. Like, for the longest time, the Jersey Devils, nobody made more than Marty Brodeur. That was just a rule.
And now he's gone.
So then players make more. Other people's like, well, he should make as much as Turbo, no more. Really? Because he's not on the same level as Teravainen. He's younger. He's going to stay here for longer. And he wants to be your Carolina Hurricanes. This is where he cut his teeth. This is where he's going to be.
He's the face of the franchise.
He's not Jeff Skinner. He plays well on both ends of the puck. He's way better than Jeff Skinner. And if you think that Jeff Skinner's better than him, I suggest looking at a calendar. Because it is no longer 2016.
And it's also no longer November.
Even then, I don't care.
I mean, he did have like a great 1-2 month period, and then he just died. Like, he had no production in the back half of the season.
Well, that's because he didn't get support in the front half. I mean, that's just how it works. And Jeff Skinner is a one-trick pony. I'm sorry, but he is.
Wow. Good rant.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We should have brought a tax lawyer in here.
You guys, I listen to these rants all the time. Oh, except for I should change listen to just like, sure, honey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love you too.
So just in case you're wondering, yes, I suffer too.
Oh, great.
My fans don't suffer. They enjoy this along with me, don't you?
No comment.
Crickets.
All right, so
Moving on.
moving on. Actually, let's move a little back. How about that? So we talked to some of the prospects today, and we have some great news for you guys because we talked to some prospects and we asked them some key questions. So one of the questions that we asked them was, how do they like Raleigh? And the other question they asked is how they like, how soon do they think they can make it to the NHL? So let's listen in to some of these interviews.
Prospects, what is your favorite thing about Raleigh?
I grew up here, so it's hard to not like anything about it.
What's your favorite thing?
Well, I haven't got to see too much of it, but I like the weather.
Weather's warm. That's awesome. All right, you, Luke.
What's the question?
What's your favorite thing about Raleigh?
The sun for sure.
The sun.
Yeah, it's not as hot here or it's not as hot in Halifax as it is here.
All right, that's a fair thing.
There's flags. It's gonna be by the end of the year. It's gonna be completely filled with them.
All right, Noel. We're here with Noel Hoffenmayer. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, Noel. How's the recording? I don't know why. Okay, we're back. All right, go ahead, Luke.
It's nice and hot here. I love the weather. It's really nice.
Yeah. What about you, Antoni?
I love the weather too.
So this is going to go on our podcast, so you guys are going to have a good
Weather and hurricanes.
weather and hurricanes. That is part of the weather. E2 Mekanemi. What about you?
Yeah, I was saying the same. Like the weather is like, it's really good. It's really different than in Finland.
Everyone likes the weather. Is that a general consensus? Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, when do you guys think you're going to be NHL ready?
I'd say
All right, Blake.
play 2 more years in the OHL and maybe play in the AHL and then make my way up. So I'd say like
We'll see you soon.
2 years, yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome. Patrick?
Yeah.
When do you think you're going to be NHL ready for us?
I think 2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years. Yeah. That's it. Janice, I think he maybe come up here sooner. What do you think?
I don't know. Hope so.
That's awesome. And Jameson, you're a fan favorite. You know that? And
It's good to hear.
it is good to hear. What do you think? When do you think you're going to be NHL ready?
I think if I finish off my OHL career, then get a year of experience in the AHL, that'll be good for me.
And you're coming from what team in the OHL?
Sarnia Stinks.
Sarnia Sting. And how do you feel like some of your usual competitions now are going to be some of your teammates?
I mean, it's definitely different, but it's definitely good because, I mean, they're all good players, so they wouldn't
awesome.
be here if they weren't. So
That's awesome. Thank you, guys. All right, so I got a couple of questions for you guys. What's your favorite thing about Raleigh? We'll start with Cedric.
My favorite thing about Raleigh is the weather is a great thing and also a terrible thing because it's really nice and warm, but it also it's really warm, too warm for me at sometimes.
David?
For me, I haven't seen too much of the city, but the arena itself is pretty nice. So it's probably my favorite part so far. I haven't seen too much outside of the ring. So.
Noah Delmas.
What's the question here?
All right, the question is, what's your favorite thing about Raleigh?
Oh, I don't know. We haven't seen too much of the city so far. We've been keeping busy, but I mean, nice facilities, and it's been a good experience so far.
Awesome. Okay, let's change it up with we got Jack Drury here, and we'll change it up. When do you think you'll be NHL ready?
I'm just going one day at a time, so I'm not sure. I have no idea. We'll see what happens.
Tomorrow. Awesome. Tomorrow, he says. All right. What about you, Samuel Harvey?
Yeah.
When do you think you're going to be NHL ready?
I don't know. Let's say a couple of years, maybe.
A couple of years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where you want?
Jack LeFontaine. This is not your first trip up here.
This will be my fourth actually, but close.
Okay. When do you think you're gonna finally break out and show everyone what you got?
I don't know. When I have like a 950 save percentage, so probably never at this point. We'll see.
That's rough on yourself.
No. It's just confidence or something. I don't know. Probably. Yeah.
Awesome.
Why did you sign on there? Everyone's signing there?
All right, I'm gonna ask you guys, what's your favorite part about Raleigh? Got Griffin Loose with us here.
I gotta say I did pretty well at the go-karting yesterday.
Yes.
Except for I was sweating pretty good in the go-kart suit, so the heat is pretty awesome though.
Awesome. Okay, Piotr. Did I say that right? How do you say your name correctly?
Sort of, no English.
Peter.
Peter, all right. When do you think you'll be NHL ready?
When do you want to play in NHL?
2 years.
3 years. Okay. Cade Weber. You know you're a bit of a fan favorite, right? When do you think you'll be able to show the fans what you got here in Raleigh?
Oh, boy. 3 years, hopefully.
3 years. Okay, awesome. Thank you, gents.
Thank you.
This is it, boys, on the caboose. What's up? On the caboose. You mind if I ask you a question? Did you roll down this down? Here's your water. What's your favorite part about Raleigh, man?
Raleigh? The weather.
Weather. Everyone says the weather. Seems to be very enjoyable. Hey, Dominic, how are you? Good. When do you think you'll be NHL ready?
Well, I don't know. Hopefully soon.
Soon? Next year?
Hopefully.
What about you, Cameron? When do you think you're going to be NHL ready?
Oh, I don't know.
Next year, maybe?
No, probably not. Hopefully next year.
Have a good day.
You too. Thanks, guys.
Hey.
Lenny Killinen, right?
Yep.
What's your favorite part about Raleigh?
Carolina.
Carolina? Just like Carolina.
Yeah. How you doing?
Yeah. Hey, Jake. When do you think you'll be NHL ready?
I don't know. Hopefully soon. Hopefully a couple years.
Couple years?
See, yeah. Hopefully.
Go ahead there. Anthony Popovich?
Yep.
What's your favorite part about Raleigh?
Good weather here. It's nice.
Seems to be consensus. You think so too, Ryan?
A lot better than where we're from.
Yeah, there's some space right here. When do you think you're going to be NHL ready, Ryan? Or do you think you need another year in AHL after the OHL?
Not too sure. Hopefully.
You ready to get back with Svetch? You two good friends? And Kevin Wall.
Yes.
What's your favorite part about Raleigh?
Raleigh? Weather in the community, I want to say.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
That was a lot of good weather remarks there from the great prospects today.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the weather in Raleigh was so impressive.
I have to say they were so nice. We got there super early today and did the equipment sale first, and then we went right into the autograph lines. Everybody was so kind.
The line for Nick Suzuki's group was massive.
Yeah, it was so long. Yeah, we actually went to 2 other lines first, and then came to his and. It was just really interesting to be able to see them face to face and talk to them. They were just really happy to see people and, meet people, their fans and stuff. So it was really cool to be a part of that.
I mean, it's their first NHL professional signing event. Who would not be happy for that?
Absolutely. I think they were also kind of told maybe like some their expectations were probably blown out of the water of what to expect here in Raleigh from the fans and everyone. They were probably expecting maybe not guys like LaFontaine who've been up here a couple of times, but some of the other kids, Ryan Suzuki and stuff. They might have been blown away by how many fans have shown up and how many people actually want to meet them and talk to them.
We are a bunch of friendly people. We're a bunch of friendly jerks. Come on.
Friendly jerks.
I'm pretty sure that's an oxymoron, but go on.
Yeah, it is, but it'll probably sell T-shirts anyway.
So if Suzuki plays anything like he did today in the prospect game, I think he's going to be amazing in a couple of years.
Oh, he broke ankles.
Yeah, Suzuki completely undressed in that minor today on a beautiful, filthy goal. Another oxymoron.
But you know who else had a fun day as a prospect today? Our very own Rayla.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So what was she up to?
Yeah, well, that's why I missed the Canes Fest today, because I was at with Rayla at the NWHL came down and ran a girls' clinic with our friend Colleen Murphy. We had her on the show before. That's better. Thank you.
Loud.
I don't know. I've been struggling hearing myself through the whole thing, so I hope that it's not been that bad. But
it's like that Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. So yeah, they had the junior NWHL in Raleigh today, and it was the actual organization that came down, and our friend Colleen Murphy was the main coach, and she recently signed with the Riveters, which I was super excited about.
To her.
You're wearing the shirt right now. I mean, come on.
I am. Well, I had to, yeah. And so, and Rayla wore her Riveters jersey, which, she just, it was kind of, it was very, very cool. And I mean, the crowd was a little small, but I think that was, there was a lot of people at the Canes event today, and there wasn't a whole lot of notice, I think, for it. And so I'm hoping that next time they'll get the word out a little bit ahead of time.
Maybe schedule in a different weekend.
Yeah, maybe. But it was good. It was a good
call
event.
Them up like, hey, Canes, can you move this to another day?
No.
Then it's for Rayla's,
No.
It's all for growth of the sport and
it's
hockey.
It's great. But, I'd like to ask her how she felt about it.
Maybe we should bring her down here.
Yeah. I think so.
So, okay. Rayla, what did you do today?
I went to a clinic. It's a
hockey clinic, folks.
A hockey clinic.
Yeah.
How did you like the NWHL hockey clinic today?
It was good.
Yeah. Did you like seeing Colleen again?
Mhm.
How do you feel about Colleen being a Riveter now?
It's cool.
Yeah.
How many goals did you score?
We didn't score it. We didn't play a whole game, but we practiced some drills and stuff. And
what's your favorite drill?
I like the crossover part.
Yeah, you're getting really good at crossovers.
I'm terrible at crossovers.
I know,
so
me too.
Tell me how to do those.
I was very impressed.
We were running in crossovers, and it was really fun. Because it was actually kind of easy to do.
Excuse me.
Get that foot speed going.
Well, tell me, what kind of stuff did they do at the clinic? What kind of drills did you do?
We did practice some drills.
Yeah. For other little girls who might consider coming, tell them what you did today.
After the
She's getting a little mic shy. She plays with her mics every time, and now she can't talk.
Okay.
Well, here's something for you on Twitter and on a couple other things. They're calling you their high future prospect.
Yeah.
How do you like that?
You're gonna be an NWHL player one day, aren't you?
I can't talk.
So cute.
So you think that would be very cool? Yeah.
It would.
Cool.
Well, who's your favorite player right now? Kelsey.
Kelsey Colzer, always, right?
And what position does Kelsey play?
Oh.
Mom assists. What position you play?
Defense.
It's
the same one.
Me too.
Yeah.
You're gonna be a defender like her? Yeah. Awesome.
Good.
Well, thank you, Rayla.
Thanks for giving us your opinion.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Hmm?
I'm glad you had fun. And the Sharks and Minnows was pretty cool, even though Miss Colleen Murphy gotcha. That was pretty fun.
Sharks.
I
and
think she
minnows?
targeted her.
Sharks and Minnows, yeah.
Wow.
that's fun.
She knew
They
Rayla
tag
just
each
went
other.
after her.
Yeah. All right, babe. Thank you.
Wait, I want to talk more.
Ah. Next time.
All right.
Thank you, Rayla. All right.
That's very cool.
She's
Yeah.
been asking to be on here a while.
Yeah, she's here and she's like,
You know, it was really cool. A few days before the clinic, the Riveters actually reached out to me through Twitter and asked me personally if Rayla was going to be there. And I thought that was super cool that they really wanted her to be there. And I was so excited to tell Rayla about it. And I was like, yay, yeah, she's coming. And Rayla was like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, I want to go and I want to go to the pool. I'm like,
Just
Rayla,
remind her
are you
in like 5 years, and she'll be like, "Oh my
Kids-
gosh,
yeah,
really?"
right. You know,
Kids
I mean,
these days.
I love the fact that she looks at these women and she sees professional players, but she also sees her friends and she sees her coaches and things like that. And I love that these women are on that level for her. But at the same time, I hate the fact that she doesn't understand how freaking cool that is.
Yeah.
one day she will.
One day she will. I mean, she's only 7.
Yeah.
But-
When she looks
One day
back-
she'll be on the other end. One day she'll be the coach.
Like it made my day. I was smiling the rest of the day, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's cool."
Do we have her official draft card ready?
Yeah, right. But I just thought that was funny.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah.
So
So
sweet.
it's the
great-
summer of prospects at
No
all
prospects.
levels.
We got about 10 to 15 years on that
Oh, man.
prospect.
Hey, we got Omar decked out in all hockey stuff now, so let's get that going.
I
Oh
am
my
not
gosh, you
gonna
guys.
been-
He's playing and he's hurting so bad. He comes home and I'm like massaging his shoulders and back and stuff. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, they beat me up today. I got like run over by so and so. I got pushed to the boards. I fell
Well, none of
over."
that happened. None of that
Yeah,
happened. I was the one pushing, of course,
Hey,
naturally.
hey,
Oh,
Marksman
man.
and Thunderbirds. Can we get a tryout for
No,
Omar?
No, absolutely not.
I'm like trying to teach him skating, but I of course figure skate. So yeah, I don't do anything
Hey,
with
I figured out
hockey.
how to skate backwards. Okay, that's a huge plus for
Right.
me.
I watched him fall like
Yay.
so many times. We go
Look.
to the rink and he falls on his butt.
My
like,
first
I-
hockey class, everything hurt. The
Right.
next
yeah.
day,
Well, that's how you know you
everything
worked hard.
hurt. I was like, even my boobs hurt. And what was it? Was it Zach that was
TMI,
like,
now we gotta
that's-
up the rating on
That's
this
not
thing.
where you hold your stick. I was like, shut up, Zach.
Oh man. Like, I just feel like skating in general for like a beginner is just that
It's
hard.
hard.
It
Yeah.
is. It's really, really hard. But once you fall like 1,000 million times, and you keep falling, you're like, oh, whatever. I just get back up.
Yeah, but come on, Omar. Just go to a tryout. It'll make a good video.
Sure, yeah. Me, like behind all these like 15, 16-year-old kids, just like
Come on.
going like, coming back to the board, just like dripping in sweat. And you're like, well, we just went around the ice once.
Right?
So I guess the question is, when are
great.
you going to be tryout ready?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
tell you when I'm gonna be trying to run. Maybe 3 to 18,000 years.
Are you gonna live? Are you an elf? Are you gonna live that long?
I won't tell.
That's great.
My gosh. Oh, before,
I'll meet you
before
there.
we go, there was one interesting thing I saw through the Carolina Thunderbirds is they're actually selling to their fans the actual championship rings the players are getting. Like a fan can buy the actual championship ring for themselves.
That is super cool.
It's $325 per season ticket members, so it's pricey, but it's worth it if you want it.
I really love
season
that.
tickets like $100.
For them, probably.
I really love that idea, though, of just kind of making the fans more of the team, like an extension of the team, because that's to me what a fan is.
It's a good marketing tool is what it is.
I mean, the
Right.
fans are there throughout the whole process, and some for years.
Through
you
thick and
know.
thin.
Yeah. So why not let them in on some of the really cool perks like that,
And if I'm not mistaken, they still have the sale going through July 13th. It's on their Facebook page. If you're interested, go check it out. We support the Thunderbirds wholeheartedly. Also, speaking of rings, NC State got their rings, and our good friend Zach got one too.
Hi, Zach.
He's showing it. He showed it off.
Zach Selwa, for those wondering.
Yeah, he's still there. He's still there at NC State. You can go say hi. But he was showing it off the other day, and I'm like, I want it. Give it to me.
Oh, so today we actually ran into what was it? The people that were playing or
The Warrior Hockey Association.
Yes.
The North Carolina Warriors hockey. They're a military hockey association.
Yeah, for military members
very
who
cool.
have been injured in combat.
Yeah, and they have their first official game, July 13th at what was the hockey rink?
Cary.
The Cary?
No, Raleigh Center Ice.
Ra-
RCA.
Yep, Raleigh Center Ice. It's also on Facebook if you want to look it up. But we support all of our veterans and all their sled hockey, official hockey things. But these guys were actually there. They were talking to everybody. They were getting the word out pretty fast. And those jerseys. Oh, those jerseys were cool.
Those jerseys were pretty legit.
If they weren't so expensive, I buy one.
They each had their military service branch sewn into the shoulder, not the shoulder, but the chest area.
That's
so it's
very cool.
it's very unique, and each person really had its own little taste to it. So yeah, I think this has been a great episode.
Great end of the season.
Great end of the season.
Wow, we're gonna make it to season 3. Oh my goodness!
We're making it to season 3. I think we're lasting longer than most podcasts.
I mean, I think everyone was excited to see, like, everyone here anyway was like excited to see Boston lose.
Oh yeah,
it
says the St. Louis native.
Oh
over
yeah,
here.
yeah. Well, I'm not a St. Louis native, but I'm a Missouri native, and I was so happy to see the St. Louis Blues win. It was incredible. I got so many texts from people like, "Oh my gosh, did you see the Blues win?" I'm like, "Yes, yes."
How many days were you singing Gloria after?
Oh my gosh.
See, even Amanda's tired of the song.
It was so cool though, because I mean, everybody always wanted, a Stanley Cup, and we kept hoping and hoping and hoping, and finally it happened, and it was just a great moment.
It's great.
And then you had your goalie marching with the flags with the marching band. It was
Yeah.
actually,
Oh
I was
gosh.
laughing when that happened. 'Cause
I
was
still
like,
can't
That's
believe
awesome.
They opened up, I think, 2 arenas in St. Louis, and they were super. They had so many people in them, it was crazy.
That's what happens when you win.
Well,
Hockey
you had the
grows.
arena, and then Busch Stadium, the baseball field, was
Mhm.
completely full.
That was crazy.
Yeah. Well, the Blues are Stanley Cup winners, and Carolina Hurricanes are looking to start their march towards the Stanley Cup. Some
Part
good
2.
Great draft, some decent trades, some okay, what are we doing here trades, and some excellent trades.
Now we go into free agency.
Now free agency is right around the corner, and we'll see what happens there. We'll meet you next time on Redvolution Rampage.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Follow us on Twitter during the gap.
Yes, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Don't you have some YouTube too?
Yeah, we
YouTube-
still do some stuff.
Yeah, we'll need to figure out more YouTube videos to put up there. We'll see.
Don't worry, we'll get creative.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lord help us.
Goodbye.